Hey, have you ever noticed or wondered whether your offer is aligned or accidentally manipulative? I have, because we've learned manipulation from everyone around us. And it's easy to use it with our kids, it's easy to use it with the people around us to get what we want. So maybe you wonder, what are some signs that I am using something unethical in my offer? I'll just give you the 5 main points. 1, you can explain it clearly. Isn't that an interesting one, right? And I guess the reason why would be because if you can't explain it clearly, maybe you didn't actually use the product, number 1, so you don't have a personal experience with it. Or, well, actually, that's my main point, because you have to be a product of the product in order to be able to sell it, I think. Now, if you're a professional copywriter, which my viewers are not, but if you were a professional copywriter, that's what you did for a living, you just have to do enough research to be able to explain it clearly. And you have to know your audience and what their language and what their struggles are and what this fixes. And you need to know the stories of the people that it helped, right? But for my people who sell MLM products, affiliate products, and create their own products, but are solo people that work in their home offices like me, you have to be a product of your product so that you can explain it from personal experience. Just for example, I use a appetite suppressant, and I've used it a long time, and it works. But in my experience, I also know that you still have to change your habits no matter what supplements or other help you get in getting started or in losing the initial weight. These are like jump starts, right? Or they're also good for you, like they're vitamins and minerals or whatever. But you still have to change your eating habits and stop with the processed foods and stuff, sugar. So can you explain it clearly? That was number 1. Number 2, you're not exaggerating results. So the truth is, if you use a product, I'm just going to use this appetite suppressant example again. You use the product and you lost 5 pounds in the first week, which could just be water weight, right? Be honest about it. I just told you that because I don't know for a fact that that first 5 pounds was real weight, right? Because we fluctuate all the time. But after using it for a month and I lost 26 pounds, that's not an exaggeration. That's the truth. I could say 30, round it up to 30. That's exaggerating results. Sometimes exaggerating results helps a little bit in the sale, right? Because you're offering them a little bit more hope. Just be honest, right? Number 3, you are not using fear to force action. Fear is a powerful motivator. And I will tell you, I do know ethical marketers that use fear to motivate people, but it's also the truth. So just be careful with this one, right? Fear motivation can be bad. Politics uses fear motivation all the time. Their whole base is afraid of something. And what's ironic is everyone says the same thing. If you look at all the sides, they're all promoting the same fears. Kind of ironic, right? So if you're using fear to force action from your buyers, just be careful that it's not. Okay, so I have another example of a truth-based fear working in the cybersecurity industry. That is nothing but fear, but it's true because there's so many stories of people getting hacked that cybersecurity companies need to protect people from. So in that case, what else are you going to do? You do have to use that fear a little bit and tell those stories because people won't move until they see themselves in that situation. And you're like, oh, I don't want that to happen to me. Let's protect my data, right? So while these 5 main points are true, there's also 2 sides to a coin, right? There's ways to use the same tools in an ethical manner. So just look at it, right? Are you using fear are you using it? Are you leveraging it in a way that just isn't right? Number 4, how would you feel if your best friend bought it? And I'll tell you the truth. My best friends have bought those things for me. They didn't work for her, one of them. And that's okay, because supplements, which is just one of my things, don't work for everyone because everyone's body is different. So you have to just be honest about it. But how would you feel if your best friend used it and it worked for her the way it worked for you? Because it did work for you, right? Yay. That made me pause because I was just thinking about the marketing system I use. How would I feel if my best friend used that marketing system and got results? Or finally found a place where she could get help with her business? Yeah, totally, right? And finally, number 5, you are willing to support the person after the sale. Are you really? If I give my premier, I'll call them VIP customers, my personal phone number to text me, because I have all my notifications turned off. So I want them to be able to get a hold of me when they need me. So are you willing to do that? Are you willing to support your people? That's a fine line, right? Because in marketing, we want to get the sale and move on and just get sales and not help the people beyond that, because it takes so much time and energy. And you do have to protect your energy. That is an absolute truth. Because there are going to be people, I call them vampires. They suck your energy because they're very needy. But hopefully you have studied your audience and you understand the kinds of people that you want to sell to, because that's all part of it too, right? You want to sell to people that you're willing to support. Which of these is the hardest to learn? And I'll tell you, for me, it's probably the first point. You can explain it clearly, because I have always had a struggle with words ever since I was a little kid. And I think it's because my brain just swirls around topics and I go deep and I go in levels. And then even when I'm talking to you, I talk all over the place. So it's hard. The hardest thing is for me to explain it clearly to you. And hopefully I do an okay job. So if I'm going to tell you the one thing that helped me in that particular point to clean up my own messaging, it was to slow down, to take a breath, to talk slower, to let those thoughts swirl, but then grab the one that goes with what I'm talking about. I have an outline in front of me to help me stay on topic. My favorite marketer goes off in tangents all the time. And sometimes it's in the tangents that I learn the biggest gold nuggets. So ethics show up in the details, right? And authenticity shows up in those details too. Which of these 5 stands out to you? And if you need any help with it, anything with your pages, with getting your website going, I have the perfect system that I use for all my sites. Just reach out or check the links in my comments and drop your comment. I'd like to know which of these 5 stand out for you.